Welcome along to Circuit Ricardo Tormo here in Valencia. We're only just a few kilometres outside of the city and we are bathed in glorious sunshine with an enormous crowd for our 13th edition of the NASCAR Grand Prix of Spain. We apologise if there's a bit of music in the background, but there's lots going on off circuit for the fans to keep them entertained. The music is blaring out directly outside of our commentary booth on the run-up to this NASCAR Euro Series V8GP race that will be heading out onto circuit shortly. The cars are lined up in the pit lane. They'll be heading out onto the circuit shortly and will roll their sleeves up and fight it out over the second win of the season. We've already seen some great racing action this weekend, so let's just have a look at one of the videos that shows some of the kind of action and some of the drivers that we've got competing with us in the V8GP division. So there we go, just some of the action that we're going to see out on circuit. The cars have just received the green light at the end of pit lane, so they're going to make their way out onto the circuit, as will Andre to chat to some of the drivers on the grid. But as ever, we've managed to find ourselves a guest to come and join me in the commentary box for this final race of the weekend. And because, of course, it's the V8GP cars that are out there, it will be one of the open drivers that joins me for this one. I'm delighted to say I've got Rafael Lessard alongside me. It's great to see you in the commentary booth.
Great to be here with you. It's awesome.
We can see out there the Mad Max people are heading out there. They've been blaring out music outside of our commentary box. There's a really nice atmosphere about this event as we come here to Spain and then we travel our way around Europe.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can't believe how good the atmosphere is around here, and there's lots of people. Like yesterday I walked around and there was even like an engine dyno. There was a Hellcat on it, and it was amazing. And look at that on TV. It's crazy to see that kind of stuff.
It's great, and we travel around Europe, and it's always different. Every event you go to, no two events are the same, and you'll see that because you were with us last year in NASCAR. You only did the event in Germany, which would have been Oschersleben.
Yep.
So every track for you this year in the Open Series is a new circuit to learn.
It's always a new track for me. I'm trying to watch a lot of in-car camera on board. There was a good one from Paul Geoffroy last year, is on board from qualifier. It was pretty much a perfect lap, so I watched that every night before I went to bed before coming here. So it was a good help for sure.
You're sharing the car with Gianmarco Ercoli, who is going to start from pole position in this race. The number 11 has had some fantastic pace this weekend, whether it be in your hands or in Gianmarco's. Gianmarco claimed the win yesterday. You've had less luck this weekend.
Yeah, it's been a tough weekend for sure. Penalty yesterday leading, ignition problem. But yeah, it's part of racing. At least I didn't know what to expect coming here because I'm in Quebec and Canada and United States. I'm kind of an oval guy, oval expert. So coming to new road course here, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to compete with all these pro guys, but I mean, I got some speed, so I'm excited. New team, they gave me a great car, and Ercoli's been doing a great job too, helping me also. So I'm excited for the rest of the season.
You allude to what you've done in Canada, but you know you've done plenty of stuff generally in the US, including a full season in the Truck Series.
Yeah, exactly. I've raced with Kyle Busch Motorsport in the Toyota program in the United States. I raced for him in the Truck Series, won Talladega, and before that I also raced for Kyle in Super Late Models. So I'm used to those big events, but NASCAR Euro is pretty amazing. I mean, like I said, the atmosphere is great. It's better than when I race truck, honestly, because when I race truck, you don't take the time to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But here, we're here all weekend. Trucks is Friday night and then you leave. Here I've been able to enjoy and see the culture a little bit. It's way different from back home.
It is way different, and the format's different as well, because back home you get your own truck and you race it. Here you have to share the car, and that's a dynamic that some drivers sort of have never experienced before.
Yeah, I never experienced that. All the cars I've driven, the seat are molded to my body. Yeah. So you can't really share your seat with anyone. So coming here and sharing the wheel with the Ergodi, which is pretty much the same size, so we don't even have to move the belt or anything. So it's pretty fun.
You look at what you've done in America. You mentioned Talladega. I've got to ask the question because Talladega is, of course, next week in the main NASCAR calendar. What's Dega like?
It's like a big highway. Yeah, it looks like when you're going super fast, almost like 200 miles per hour. With other guys around you. Yeah. But when you're looking ahead, everything seems so slow because it's so wide. But if you start looking at the fence, it goes by so quick that you almost get scared looking at it. So you just got to focus at keeping your vision as wide as possible and focusing ahead.
Obviously, our races are much shorter here than you'd have in the truck series. So maybe fatigue isn't quite as bad. But of course, road courses have their own physical aspects as well, and we'll come back to that in a moment. So I think what we're going to do is go down to the grid 26 minutes before the command, and Andre has found somebody to chat to.
Yes, I'm here with Nanotech Europe, one of our proud partners in the NASCAR Euro Series. Question to you both, we have to translate it today. Yes. So, what is your company about and how are you enjoying the NASCAR Euro Series so far?
Nanotech Europe je technologická společnost z České republiky. Vyvíjíme maziva na bázi pokročilých nanomaziv.
We are Czech company, Nanotech Europe, who develop and produce the advanced lubricants with using the nanomaterials.
All right, and the NASCAR Euro Series, do you enjoy it?
Mm-hmm. My testujeme naše výrobky v extrémních podmínkách laboratoří a jsme velice potěšeni a nadšení, že můžeme být partnerem NASCAR. Velice se toho vážíme, že jako jediný český tým jsme uspěli pro takovou práci.
We test our products in our laboratory under really very hot and extreme conditions. And you ask if how we enjoy it here. We are very happy to be part of the NASCAR family because we are, they told us that we're supposed to be the family and we really feel like members. And also we are very happy that we are the first Czech team who is, who has got this promotion and offer from Euro NASCAR. So we are very happy and satisfied.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay,
thank you and enjoy the weekend. Yeah. Back to you, Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andre. It's important that we keep our partners happy in the NASCAR Euro Series, keep our drivers happy, but in particular keep our fans happy, because that's why we keep coming back to put on this show and this display. And they're talking about their family there, Rafael. NASCAR is a big family. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, whether you be in Brazil, whether you be in Mexico, whether you be in Canada, whether you be in America, whether you be in all of the countries we go to in Europe, we're all part of the same family.
Yeah, exactly. We're all part of the same family, and sometimes we see the same people. I've seen some people from NASCAR that I see usually in Florida or in the United States or Canada. I've seen them this weekend, so it's pretty fun.
And part of that family thing allows us to do the driver exchange program, which you've been part of before, which is why you were at Oschersleben.
Yeah, exactly. I did the exchange last year with Vittorio Girelli, the champion here last year. He came to race against me in NASCAR Canada at the GP3R, which is our biggest event of the year last year. And I met him there, and then I came back in Germany to race. So it was pretty fun watching him discover our cars in Canada, which are way different, and me coming here in Germany and discovering the race car. And I think it helped me a lot for this weekend because I had a little bit of an idea before starting the season.
We say you know that the cars are fundamentally different, but some of the DNA is exactly the same, isn't that big V8 engine in there and pure racing?
Yeah, exactly. And in Canada, the cars feels a little bit heavier, not as much brakes, so I'm surprised how good the brakes are on the NASCAR Euro car. And also in NASCAR Canada, you gotta manage a little bit more your throttle because you got lots of power.
So let's go back down onto the grid. Now we've heard a little bit more about the cars that they drive in Canada. Andre has managed to catch up with somebody else towards the front end of the grid.
Yes, I'm here with Gianmarco Ercoli, but you see that he's really busy at the moment, taking pictures during the grid walk with a lot of people here, visiting our pole setter. So tell me, how are you feeling?
So the feeling is good when you start to the first row. I like a lot. The pole position is a really good advantage for all the drivers, and I try to take all the best of this position.
All right, then good luck, have fun, because you are very busy here. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks a lot. So there we go. There is Gianmarco Ercoli. So he is starting from pole position. He will be absolutely delighted with the win from yesterday. So let's have a quick look before we get the next interview. I think we can get some championship points up and look at the way that the points stand based on the finishes from yesterday. 40 points for a race win, so on it diminishes from there. An extra 4 points go to the driver that gains the most places from their starting position to their finishing position. So Gianmarco Ercoli, because of the win yesterday, is on 40 championship points. 5 points off him is Paul Gieffreau, and the double back-to-back champion, Vittorio Gorelli, is there in third, but tied with the same points as Garrett Lowe, because Garrett Lowe had a brilliant drive yesterday, the 24-year-old American, from the very back of the grid and worked his way all through the order. So he picks up the extra 4 championship points. Early days in the championship, that's how it looks. Let's go back down to the grid and Andre.
Today, because there are so many people in the grid walk, and I have here Jordan O'Brien.
Mess.
Yeah. But that's a unique one. A picture. We're live at the moment. Don't worry. It's all fine. So, just a second, please. I'm gone very soon. So, how are you feeling today?
Well, good so far. I mean, just trying to stay cool. I mean, everybody knows the thing that's kind of crazy, and I don't know what it is with Spain, but the number on the temperature is not very high, but it feels way hotter. So I don't know what they got going on with this Spanish sun, but it's definitely cooking us all. So we're all, I'm sure some of the other drivers are hiding, and we're all trying to get as much shade as we can, because it is going to get toasty in the car, and this dark suit definitely doesn't help me. But overall, I feel good. I think it'll be a good race. We all got a little bit of a talking to from Jerome this morning, so we're all going to try to be a little calmer in turn one, at least behind the front rows. So we'll see what happens, but I'm excited.
All right, good luck. I see they're lining up here for more autographs, so I leave you alone now. Right. Back to you, Mark.
Always good to hear from the drivers on the grid, and it's the fans taking the opportunity to chat to some of the stars of the NASCAR Euro Series. He was talking about a talking to from Jerome, and that's because things didn't quite go to plan at turn one, either in your race or in the V8GP race, and it's just trying to make sure that drivers are adding that extra bit of caution, because you can't win it at turn one.
No, you can't win in turn one on a restart. You always got to be careful, and to win races, you got to finish the race. And if you want to get your car better, you need to have time to work on the suspension instead of working on the body, trying to repair it. So you always got to focus and take it easy the first few laps, and then you'll be fine if you end up finishing the race.
We can see that Jack Davison is busy signing fans cards and autographs down there. So let's go back down to the grid again and find who Andre has got this time.
Yeah, I'm here with Dominic Shark, and this is dedication. Your job is done, your races are done, you're still in your racing suit. This is the V8GP race, you race in open, but still you're here to sign stuff for the fans. Do you enjoy the event?
Yeah, I love Valencia, I love this track, and so many people, and so many fans. Yes, make fun. And the waiting, the winter series was so long, and now we begin, and I'm happy.
All right, then keep on going, because the line is very long. Thank you so much. Go back to you, Mark.
Thanks a lot. He was saying he likes Valencia, he likes the circuit. We haven't got a circuit graphic that we can bring up, but it's got a few twists and turns and some technical sections and some undulations. What's your favourite part of the track? What's the corner you enjoy most?
Corner 12 was a good one for me. I felt like everybody was lifting quite a bit, and I just was almost flat out most of the time in corner 12. It's pretty tricky with that speed bump. You always got to hit it perfect, but I felt like with the 34 Toffel behind me, every time he would get close to me, I would pull way ahead at this special corner.
For me, that's the corner I enjoy watching cars most through, because Championeros looks a stunning corner to drive through. It's quick. You've got to launch off that curb, but you can't run too wide on the exit, otherwise you'll get a time penalty.
That's the hard part.
But if you give up too much time, they're catching you through 13 and can attack at 14.
Yeah, you got to have a good exit, because you're all the way down to 14, corner 14, you're wide open. So you never lift from 12 to 14. So you really got to have a good exit. But if you don't, and if you try to get a good exit and you go off the track, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, so you've got to be careful. Yeah, you're trying to gain, but you're also certainly trying not to give time away at that point of the circuit. You can see how busy it is down there as well, and you could see the shimmer, the heat haze there as the drivers and the cars are getting ready to go. So it is warm out there, hence why all of the windscreens are covered, to keep everything cool inside. Let's go back down to the grid and Andre once more.
Yes, I'm here with Ulysse Delson. He's working really hard to get these autographs in here. Ulysse, how are you feeling?
I'm good, a little nervous, but we will see what happens. I will do the best, focus on my technical driving, and we will see about after the turn 1 and turn 2, and hope to have a good start and good battle. We will see.
All right, thank you so much, good luck. And we see here that Mike Weiss, who was competing in the Rookie Challenge on Friday, it's Sunday now, still racing suit on. You don't care about the sun, right?
No, I mean, I'm from Texas, so the heat don't bother me too much. And like I said on broadcast, it's all about the fans, so that's why we're here. We gotta put on the racing suit, take the heat, and do it for the fans, because they made the effort to come out to see us, so I want to make an effort for them, you know?
Perfect words. Back to you, Mark.
See you guys.
Thanks a lot. It was great to see him, and joined him in the commentary box yesterday as well. I've got Rafael Lessard alongside me now. Drivers starting to just sort of get into that zone now, aren't they? The fan engagement, of course, is all critical to part of this, but it also removes the opportunity for them to get into the zone early. So once the fans are gone, that's when the focus changes.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's when I strap in the race car. That's when I focus the most. But I'm not a nervous guy, so I'm always making jokes with my team. But when I strap in my car and put my helmet on, it's game on. But it's crazy how many people there is. Yesterday we saw a lot of people, but I think there's even more today.
Even more today, yeah, with a mixture of the general spectators, the guests, the VIPs that are all here today. The American car clubs and the modified car clubs have come along. So it is that whole family atmosphere, young children here, older people here. It really doesn't matter. There are no barriers to enjoying the NASCAR experience and the opportunity to come down onto the grid and meet the drivers and meet the stars and get their autographs. You know, if you're a small fan, that's a special moment for you that you'll remember.
Oh yeah, I remember when I was really young, I got a picture with Kyle Busch.
Wow.
And he was a couple years later, I was driving for him. So that's when it starts. Dreams start really young.
Yeah, pinch yourself moments. Let's go back down to the grid again. Who have you got this time, Andre?
What's your plan today?
Win.
Easy.
Yeah, I mean, we had a very bad race one. I mean, bad. We still got a P3, but then my teammate was had an issue with the axle, and probably the crack was already there, because my rear was very unstable throughout all the race. I was struggling. This morning in the warm-up, we did a few changes in the car, and we were flying. Very good lap time, 4/10 clearer than everyone. So I did the warm-up now. It was good. I felt it good already. Grip, a lot of grip. Yeah, PK Car Sport boys are always the best. There's always hard times and good times. When it's hard, you have to maximize the result, and we got a P3, and now we'll go for the win. It will be not easy, starting from P5, but we see what we can do.
All right then, good luck, have fun. And I'm going to take a quick look at my beautiful Strom watch, the NASCAR Euro Series Strom watch. 5 minutes until national anthems, Mark.
Thank you very much, Andre. I'm not jealous at all of that watch that you've got on your wrist, and there's a timepiece heading in my direction at some point. And Vittorio Gorelli there saying, you know, it was a disappointing race for him yesterday. He finished third. You'd take that after the weekend you've had.
Yeah, for sure. But man, it's good to have confidence, but usually I don't show my confidence, but he does. He's always got that game face, and he's always like, I'm gonna win. That's the goal. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a driver that's been around a long, long time. I remember when he was racing in single-seaters and starting to work his way through, seen him in other championships as well. You're another driver, you know, you're only 24, but, you know, you've been karting for many years, like so many young drivers go nowadays. And also, I'm guessing you spend a lot of time in the sim as well to try and understand certain things or new circuits you might visit.
Yeah, I've never done any karting. I started I started in a real race car at 11 years old, but yeah, I've done a lot of iRacing.
Yeah.
So that's
same here.
That's
but not very well, not as good as you.
That's what I did growing up, trying to speed things up and learn quicker. But new racetrack also. When I did the Truck Series, I would spend as many laps as possible on the sim. And I went to the TRD simulator, the Chevrolet simulator also. It's crazy how much money they spend for these.
And the great thing is about, you know, young people coming through now. I've heard a few of them, maybe karting. Some of them aren't doing that. They are jumping like you straight into cars, but are spending lots of time as a youngster when they could kart on the sim, because while sims aren't cheap, it's way cheaper than karting, and you can throw as many sets of tyres at it and crash as many times as you want when it's esports.
Yeah, exactly. You can click the reset button.
but they're so accurate now.
Yeah, but sometimes you see some people that are really, really good sim racer, but they don't have that mindset to where if something happens, like it can cost your life or it can cost somebody else's life. So that's what sometimes it's hard to manage for a sim racer, but it definitely helps.
And one of those sim racers, of course, is on this grid, which is Garrett Lowe.
Yes, I remember racing against him on iRacing, actually. He's won? Really good. I mean, it's been a while. I was very, very young, but he's been on iRacing forever, it seems like.
Yeah, we just saw down there on the grid Devin Stetner, who is the man behind our television production company, meeting with, of course, the NASCAR international official that joined us in the commentary box earlier on today. There's Roman Iniesta, by the look of things, just putting things on the roof of the car that we will see Gianmarco Ercoli driving. And Romain Iniesta was very much a driver right at the sharp end of this championship a few years ago. Somebody you know?
Yes. I didn't know him before this weekend, but he's really, really nice guy. And I told him this morning, I'm like, do you miss it when you're at the racetrack like that? Do you want to jump in? He's like, well, I got three fast race car drivers, so I don't want to jump in. But he said if I was slow, he would have like to jump in.
You're too quick for that. You're too quick for that. So the drivers are getting ready. We're not that far away from the national anthems being played. If you were watching the broadcast earlier on for the NASCAR Euro Series Open race, you'll have seen, as is tradition, that we always have two national anthems at the beginning. One is the national anthem of the United States of America, and the other one will be the national anthem of our host country, which for this weekend, of course, it is the NASCAR Grand Prix of Spain. So all of the VIPs have now been asked to leave the grid, which leaves the team members and the drivers and our performers there, who will be doing some dancing on the build-up to the countdown to the command, which will take place in about 9.5 minutes' time, just under. The crowd seeking a little bit of shade. Temperatures continuing to build. I think today, you know, in our commentary booth here, this is probably the warmest it has been, but we will remain silent to respect the national anthems. So there we go, the national anthems of the United States of America, which will be very shortly followed by the national anthem of our host country, Spain. So there we go, the national anthems have been played, and that is the cue now for the drivers to begin to get ready. And as you were saying, this is now where they're starting to get in the zone, isn't it? Paul Giuffreau we are looking at there. He has been a race winner here in the past. We've got a few former race winners of this event on the grid. Of course, Gianmarco Oerkli claimed the win yesterday. That was his first win in Valencia in V8GP. He had been a winner in the Open Series in the past. Paul Giuffreau claimed a win last year. Thomas Crasonas, I should say, is on the grid. He's a race winner here, and also Vittorio Garelli. So 4 previous race winners here at Valencia are on the grid in this one, Rafael.
Yeah, it's I mean, that's game on right now. You can see Ercoli is getting ready. He probably was stretching earlier and doing his warm-up outside the race car. I'm getting to know him a little bit, and I can see a lot of drivers have different type of things they do, but it's pretty fun to watch.
Jimmy Jett's been around this for a while now. He's a nice guy. He's a quick guy. Always has been.
Yes, for sure. You can see Paul Giuffreau. He's the one that I've studied the most before coming here. He's really quick. I think it's going to be really tough to beat, but I'm sure that 11 car is going to be fast. I know it's fast.
You absolutely, yeah. You've been sitting behind the wheel of it. You know that it is fast. There is Jordan O'Brien just popping on the crash helmet, unpainted helmet for him, pure carbon, which is unusual nowadays with drivers, isn't it?
Yes, for sure. It's a good spot for a sponsor. I always put my primary sponsor on it because it looks cool, and they love it. But Jordan's been really quick this week, and yesterday he did a really awesome job. I got to know him in Germany, and he seems like a really fun guy, really good guy.
So just to tick the box of corporate imperatives, because you're live on broadcast, the main sponsor of you may as well mention them.
Yes, well, I got a couple. There's Alumitech on the car with Alain Mounir, the team owner, but there's also Rousseau Metal, XPN, the company I work for back home. They do supplement like protein and creatine and all that stuff. So that's what I sell. We got our own energy drink also. So that's what I do during the week at home. I work really hard at it.
Well, we've ticked the box of keeping your partners happy now as well. So that
Thank you.
That works for me, absolutely. So grid has pretty much been cleared now, just the final mechanics that are there. We're still 4 minutes away from the command at this stage. So what we are going to do is just remind you about the tyre rules that we have in the NASCAR Euro Series, because tyres have been a hot topic in hot weather this weekend. So all of the cars are on control Hoosier tyres. We can bring you a graphic up that just then confirms that the compounds that we have and the number of tyres that are limited for the drivers over the weekend, because it's the same ruling whether you are in V8GP or in Open. You only get, as a driver, 4 tyres, 1 set of tyres to see you through the weekend. Now, in the likes of somebody like let's say Thomas Tuffel, because he's racing in both categories, he gets 2 sets of tyres. One is his set that's allocated for V8GP. The other set is what's allocated for the open races. And you have to use those allocated sets through all of qualifying, through all of race 1 and through all of race 2. So if you're pushing hard in race 1, you're going to have not a lot of tyres left for race 2 come the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to learn, how much I can push these tires for the first race. But yesterday I tried to manage, even with the issue, I tried to manage my tire the best I could. I think today I had plenty left, but there's for sure maybe some guys that you didn't see up front yesterday, because they were maybe saving for today, and you might see them running even better during this race.
And of course, we've got those cars that were tangled up in the race yesterday. So the likes of Vinny Mascalis, the likes of Vladimiris Choitsis, they were starting towards the back end of the grid. They only got to turn number 2 before they were out. So they've got pretty much a set that they've only qualified on.
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge advantage. But it seems like after a couple laps, it equals out a little bit. But you just don't want to piss them. Like, you want to be smooth all the time. You don't want to slide them too much because it's going to put them in like a shock. And you don't want to shock them too much because you're going to pay the price for sure.
Yeah, so the drivers will be bearing all of that in mind. The spotters will be telling them when they need to push, when they can just ease off a bit because the gaps are there. There'll be certainly lots of communication that is going on in these pit-to-car radio systems. And for you've grown up with a spotter, with somebody talking in your ear. But when you're a driver, as some of them are that are coming in and probably having it for the first time this year, it is quite difficult to try and race the car and listen, but almost put it out of your mind at the same time and concentrate.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of, it gets to a point where you don't even think about it no more. You're listening to it, but it's like if you're not at the same time, because you can still focus, but at first you're trying to focus both things at the same time.
Yeah.
But once you do it quite a bit, it gets like natural.
It's a bit like when I've got Ivan, our producer, chatting in my ear and I'm trying to talk at the same time. It's like rubbing your tummy and patting your head. It just takes a while.
For me, it's hard when I hear somebody talking at the same time. But for you, it seems easy.
It's not. It's not. No, I'm not good at multitasking. Ask Mrs. Werrell about that, and she will absolutely confirm that. So we're less than 60 seconds away now from those infamous words in NASCAR. We can see the countdown in the bottom right corner of the screen, which is supported by stromwatches.com, of which Andre, of course, is a very proud wearer. I'm not sure if it's owner, but wearer of one of those. So our Grand Marshal is ready on the grid. We have now got our full grid of cars all lined up. The only absentee will be on row number 4, because if you're watching the footage earlier on, I did mention that Martin Dubeck was involved in an incident yesterday which injured his hand. It really was quite painful for him overnight. So he is out for the weekend. Here we go then. We're about to see the command.
Valencia que viene aquí a hacer esto. Así que ya estamos todos entrenados, ya estamos todos preparados. Cuando tú digas la frase, tienen que arrancarse los motores de cara a esta carrera, la última del meeting de hoy. Presentamos al gran Marshal Arnaud Anjumá. La parrilla es tuya.
Drivers, start your engines!
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. There's the official command. And that is something I would love to do. I've never had the opportunity as yet. I would love to do that. So the cars fire into life. They'll be working their way around the circuit to this 2.489 mile circuit. Is just over 4 kilometers, 4.005 kilometers. It is on the full configuration of Ricardo Tormo. So as the safety car will start to pull away shortly, once the final few engineers have just got off the grid, then we can look forward to our final race of the weekend, the V8GP race. Before in about 4 weeks' time, we head further across towards the east of Europe into France, where we return for the first time in quite some while for the NASCAR Grand Prix of France to Le Castellet, which is the Paul Ricard circuit, which will be our next venue. From there we'll be on to Brands Hatch, then we've got Most, and then it's Vallelunga for the semi-finals and Zolder for the finals. We'll probably at some point just confirm all of those to you with the graphics. So as the cars head off onto the circuit, we can look forward to our final race of the weekend for the V8 GP category.
Drivers, start your engine!
So there we go, the car's heading around the circuit, so let's just quickly confirm the grid for you because they're already about half the way around this formation lap. Now remember, the grid is based on their fastest times that were set in the V8GP race that took place yesterday, the first round of the championship. So Gianmarco Ercole starts on pole position, and it's Paul Giuffreau that sits alongside. Garrett Lowe is there in second position, and Jordan O'Brien is for company. Then as we move on from row number 2 onto row number 3, it's Vittorio Garelli that is there on the third row of the grid with Nelson Piquet Jr. And there'll be an absentee. Martin Dubeck, with his arm injury, possibly a broken hand, is not out in the number 7 car. So Ulysse Delso lines up on his own on that fourth row of the grid. Row 5 of the grid, Jack Davidson has Sebastian Bleekie-Molen for company, and it's Kenko Miura that has got Mark Hussens sitting alongside him on what will be the 6th row of the grid. As we move on to row number 7, it will be Logan Bearden and Thomas Chrysonis. It is Giovanni Cartacchini that is on the next row of the grid with Alex Caffey for company. David Kajaya alongside Stefano Attianesi. Then it's Brad Ranson and Julian Ryberg, Thomas Tofel and Vladimiris Choitsis and Vinny Mascales, who joined me in the commentary box for the open race earlier on, starts off the tail end of the field. But as he was saying in commentary earlier on, yes, really disappointed with it, but he knows he's got a car with really good tyres because he didn't do much in the racing earlier on, and as any racing driver, he knows he's got some pace, he's going to pick his way through.
Yeah, for sure, and one that I can't wait to watch is the 48, Nelson Piquet Jr., because he didn't complete all the laps yesterday, and I think he's got better tyres, and he was really quick this morning.
He was very quick this morning, and the lap time he put in yesterday, yeah, was 6th quickest of everybody. So let's see what he might be able to do with, fingers crossed, a less troubled race for them today. So 18 laps for the V8GP division. The safety car is off. Buckle up. We're about to go green for the final time this weekend at Ricardo Tormo. Red lights on the gantry. They go out now, and the cars charge their way up towards Aspar, the first corner. Gianmarco Ercole and Paul Giuffreau side by side heading up towards the first corner. Ercole has that all-important inside line though, and Paul Giuffreau is going to try and brave it around the outside. He runs very, very wide. The two of them are still side by side heading up in towards Doohan, but again, Ercole has that inside line, and Paul Giuffreau is going to have to chop across the nose of Jordan O'Brien to try and protect the position.
Yeah, really clean turn 1, turn 2. Way better than yesterday so far. So yeah, we can see the 48 car, I think, gained 2-3 positions already. So it's going to be an exciting one.
It's going to be a very exciting one. Garrett Lowe, who is feeling slightly second-hand with a virus, he's in the white and the red car that's sitting there in 4th position at the moment. He's under attack from the 48, which is trying to go around the outside of him. That's Nelson Piquet Jr. on those tyres that you were suggesting will have some good life in them as the result of the poor problem yesterday. There is a yellow flag at turn number 5 and up towards San Nieto, which is turn number 6 by the look of things. So I think that was a spin for somebody. And somehow Garrett Lowe and Nelson Piquet Jr. were still side by side as they went through turn 8, which is Bernard Martinez. So good, sensible, but respectful driving in the early stages.
Yeah, you can see Garrett Lowe seems like he's got a pretty good car so far, and the 11 car Ercole is really fast again, off front with 3 car lengths ahead of the 3 Paul Giuffreau.
Vittorio Garelli is sitting down there in something like 5th or 6th position at the moment. He's trying to defend from Garrett Lowe, or trying to attack from Garrett Lowe, but he also needs to be conscious of defence as well, because he's got somebody trying to weave their way through and past him on the run over the start-finish line. So through they go, first lap completed. Gianmarco Ercole leads from Paul Giuffreau in 2nd place. Jordan O'Brien's there in 3rd. Garrett Lowe, Vittorio Garelli, and Nelson Piquet Jr. it is that's attacking the double champion, the back-to-back champion Vittorio Garelli. Nobody in the V8GP division and its predecessors have ever claimed 3 titles on the trot. Alan Day has claimed more titles, he's the multiple champion, but he only ever did 2 on the trot. Garelli is looking at history this year if he can net the season together.
Yeah, and you can see Thomas Stoffel, we haven't talked about him much, but he was out of the race early yesterday, and he's got 2 wins already on the open side, but I think he's already gained a lot of position. So he's going to be one to watch.
As has Vinny Mascalis as well, isn't he? The driver who joined me in the commentary box earlier on, up to 16th from what would have been 23rd as a starting position. Yes, there was one absentee on the grid, so you could argue 22nd, but that's still on a circuit that they say is not easy to overtake at. Ask Toffel and Mascalis, they'll tell you otherwise.
Yeah, it's a tough circuit to overtake for sure, because people will cross you over on exit most of the time, and sometimes you ended up passing someone, but he's all of a sudden is right back beside you. So it's quite difficult.
So just heading through the infield section at the moment. The number 55 of Ulysse Delceau was coming under pressure there from Jack Davidson. And then it was Thomas Crasonis that was next up as well, another driver that's had a slightly difficult weekend with his racing yesterday, and even an off with some brake issues on Friday. So it really has been a tough weekend for Thomas Crasonis. Now for second place, Paul Giuffreau is feeling the pressure here. The number 50 in the hands of Jordan O'Brien, the Barchetta Collection supported car, sitting there in the slipstream of Paul Giuffreau, who moves out just to cover off any move on the inside line.
Yeah, I think he's protecting as much as possible the inside going in turn 1, but Jordan O'Brien is really fast. Seems like he's got a really, really good car. If they made it better than yesterday, I think he's going to be really fast. I'm pretty sure he's trying to draft also. Oh, you can see the 24, Vittorio just clear Garrett Lowe. He's going to be one going to the front for sure.
Yeah, he's just moved up then from 5th up to 4th position at this stage. We've got yellow flags part the way around the lap at turn number 12, I understand. And we are going full course caution because of that. So full course yellow is out. So all of the cars have to slow to the requisite amount of speed to try and keep the gaps similar, and then race control will decide as to whether we go from full course yellow to what will be safety car, or whether we go from full course yellow back to green once the incident is cleared. And the incident is David Kajaya, who is another driver who had problems yesterday. He was out of the race early. So whilst we are under full course yellow, let's go down to the pit lane and Andre.
Yeah, you already confirmed it. I was here at the pit lane and I see the car stationary there. I just wanted to confirm. I think it's David Kajaya, the number 8 car, in trouble there. That's why we're under caution right now.
Thank you, Andre. Yeah, we didn't know at the time, but yeah, our fantastic television cameramen were able to spot that one, and the producer straight away punching that picture through to us. So safety car, everybody continuing round at the same pace. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the full course yellow for fear of upsetting my guest alongside me. So Gianmarco Ercoli, you know, he'll be happy that it's full course yellow. If it goes to safety car, he'll be less happy because he'd opened up about a second gap, hadn't he?
Yeah, and it's hard to open up a second gap. You got to manage as much as possible. You don't want to push too hard at the beginning when you're the leader. You're always looking in your mirror how much can I save? Do I need to push? Do I have room to save with the guy in second? But I think Ercoli was in a good position because Paul Giuffreau was trying to protect his position because Jordan was really quick behind him.
So the way it works in these Euro NASCARs, you know, unlike say, so let's just have a quick look back actually at the replay of the start. So they charge up towards turn number 1. Gianmarco Ercoli under pressure from Paul Giuffreau. They went side by side through the first corner. They were still side by side up towards turn 2 with Jordan O'Brien right behind. Nelson Piquet Jr. was a bit wide going into 2 though, and that was what allowed Garrett Lowe up the inside between the pair of them. But everybody was safely through the first corner, and the reason that we saw a brief spin and only just getting out of the gravel trap at what was turn number 6 was because the 54 went round, which was Giovanni Cartacchini. So that was what was going on there. So we remain under safety car at the moment. So back to these cars. You know, if you're in say a GT3 or a GT4 sports car, there's a pit lane speed limiter button that you hit to get full course yellow. That's not the case in these, is it?
No, you gotta hold your RPM. I think it's second gear, 2400 RPM. Yeah, you gotta hold. You can go faster or you can lose time because you might get penalized. So I know about it a little bit about it today. Oh,
well, we go green again straight away, and caught out there at the restart was Gianmarco Ercoli. Now, it's usually a countdown from the spotter
it's
or
the
race
same
control.
Thing that happened to me earlier.
Yeah, just
he probably didn't receive the signal to go green,
and that was what caught Ercoli out.
Yes.
Yeah, so yours was a similar problem.
Yeah, that's why I let 3 guys go when it came back to green, and I was back to 4th position. I went from 1st to 4th, and I had to climb my way back. That's probably we'll see, maybe a good show from him.
If Gianmarco Ercoli can do what you did within a couple of laps of the restart and haul himself back up, because your moves were fantastic to get back. You could tell you were fired up after dropping
I
to
was.
4th.
He's probably fired up too, but he's got the best car probably out there, so I'm sure he's gonna push really, really hard. We'll see what he does in traffic, because it's the first time that he's in traffic this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. He's looking to try and nip past the heels of Jordan O'Brien. Tried something, but that didn't quite work. So the top 3 are still together. Paul Giuffreau fighting fighting away with Jordan O'Brien and then Gianmarco Ercoli. Vittorio Garelli is not that far away as well in 4th place, and it looks as though those front 4 cars now have got the breakaway.
Yeah, exactly, and I can't wait to see if Ercoli is going to get back to the front and how long it's going to take if he does, but there's not that many places you can set up a pass, so it's either in turn 1, get a really good exit down here and get it beside him right before turn 1, outbrake the other guy, or turn 2 is a good place, but the other place it's so tight that you can't really overtake anybody.
It's an all-Ford podium at the moment. Ford Mustangs 1st, 2nd and 3rd. It's a Chevy in 4th and 5th. It's another Ford in 6th. First of the Toyotas sits down there in 7th at the moment. And is this the move that we're looking for? Gianmarco Ercoli looking for the inside of Jordan O'Brien, coming from a long way back. Jordan sees him coming. The two go wheel to wheel round through Dewan. And Gianmarco Ercoli has got the job done before they get to the left-hand kink at turn number 3. So good outbraking manoeuvre there from Gianmarco.
Yeah, that was a great move. It's hard to outbrake someone like that, someone as fast as Jordan. But that was awesome to watch. And you can see the 13 car, Thomas, is now up to 9th place. He's been moving.
He really has, yeah. That's Thomas Crasonas, who is now up into 9th position, bearing in mind he started a long way further back than he would have wanted, something like 14th position on the grid. Now for Jordan O'Brien. Okay, he's dropped from 2nd down into 3rd because of the great outbraking manoeuvre from Gianmarco Ercoli, but who's behind him? Reigning champion, double champion, Vittorio Garelli is right there. Now he's not going to try anything at this part of the circuit, which is going to be turn number 11, that will be, up towards Champiereros, which is turn number 12, this section of the circuit that you're talking about, where you really leap over the curbs, launch the car, and in the background you could see Garrett Lowe doing exactly that. And if anything, I think through that section of the circuit, Vittorio Garelli lost a little bit of time to the Dayglow yellow car ahead.
Yeah, you can see also Paul is trying to get away. His sector 1, sector 2 was very fast this time. And there's also Nelson, sector 2 was the fastest this time. So it's probably going to be a good one to watch.
And Thomas Terfel, who might be down in 12th place, but he's been the fastest of anybody through the first sector, the double winner in the open category earlier on. So the top 4 looking fairly equidistantly spread. 5th and 6th is now a good battle, and that is Garrett Lowe feeling the pressure from the Ford Mustang, the 48 car in the hands of the Brazilian Nelson Piquet Jr. that sits behind. Of course, he is a former champion in the Formula E category in its early years, back in 2015. But he's another driver again, you know, brings huge amounts of experience, whether it be racing in single-seaters or sports cars, but also NASCAR Xfinity trucks, all of those.
Oh, really? Which one is that?
Nelson Piquet.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about Nelson. I thought you were talking about somebody else. But yeah, he actually won in the truck series a couple of times. He's been everywhere. It's a world champion, this guy is. So it's really cool to have him as a teammate with Alumitech Racing. He's got quite the background for sure.
He has, and the great thing yesterday, there's a story we're going to put out on social media at the end of the weekend, is that Alex Caffey wandered up to Nelson in the photographs that were taking place on Friday, and he said, hey, I used to race with your father when I raced in Formula One between 1986 and 1992. I also raced with your older brother when he was racing in Brazil, and now this weekend I'm racing with you as well. Three members of the same family.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're going to put a little story out about that. Good fights going on further down through the order. Sebastian Bleekie-Molen is under pressure. That's Thomas Crasones that is directly behind him. And then just behind there's another couple of fights. Julian Ryberg is busy fighting away. And I think he was able to try and weave his way through there, was he, to gain the place possibly. So Paul Giffrou is getting away, I believe, because the last lap, the best lap of the race.
Yeah, exactly. He's been really fast. I don't know if he was saving at the beginning, protecting his position, but now he definitely took advantage of Ercoli with the issue he had going back to green.
Thomas Crasones looked as though he got the job done at turn number 1, but then ran wide coming out of the corner, and that has offered up an opportunity for Sebastian Bleekie-Molen to try and carve his way back. But Crasones goes all the way around the outside at turn 3, which gives him the inside lineman to go down to Nico Triol, which is turn number 4. And Bleekie-Molen was trying to get the undercut as well there, couldn't quite get it done.
That's the hard part about this circuit. It's always you always get the guy, clear the guy, and then he's back beside you all the time. But it's been quite interesting watching these guys. I know the 24 Vittorio Garelli is has been really, really fast the last few laps. I think he's might have something for the Jordan and Ercole.
Yeah, so these three now squabbling are just going to allow Paul Geoffroy to get away that little bit more. He had opened up the gap to just under a second. It was 9/10 of a second last time through. Up towards Champierreros, they will come once more, which is turn number 12. Then turn number 13, which is really just the kink at the top of the hill. It's an unnamed corner, turn number 13. And then you head down in towards 14. And Jordan O'Brien, is this the opportunity? Yes, he's looking for the inside line on Gianmarco Ercole. He geared that up on the corner before, but the problem is now Ercole's going to try and fight back up at the exit. But that move, which was finished at turn 14, was started at turn 12.
Yeah, exactly. He got a good exit off turn 12. It's a great move, but honestly, I think Ercole might have pushed his car a little bit too hard maybe yesterday. He had quite an advantage on the guy in second yesterday. Maybe he was pushing really, really hard because he seems to be fading a little bit.
He does, because Vittorio Garelli is now up the inside, so another place lost for Gianmarco Ercole. So Jimmy Jett now drops down into 4th position at the wheel of your car.
Yeah.
So he's plenty of time to try and fight back because there's still 11 laps to go. But the problem is you've lost a couple of places, and then you look in the mirrors, straight away there's another car behind Garrett Lowe. Right behind Garrett Lowe is Nelson Piquet Jr. It doesn't stop there.
No, it doesn't stop there. And also you can see Nelson is coming. It seems like to be quicker than the guy in front of him right now. And he's got, like I said, newer tires. So the more laps we're going to put in, the better he's going to get.
So Garrett Lowe in the 99 car, that's the white and the red car. Remember, he is a professional sim racing driver, Garrett Lowe. He is one of those that has transferred that skill beautifully well from the sim into real world racing. And he's doing all of this feeling slightly second hand today. He's not been well today. He was due to join me in the commentary box but stepped away from it. He's been rehydrating all day because he's feeling quite rotten. But look at the performance he's putting in.
It's the adrenaline. It's holding you. Sometimes when you're feeling not at your best, that's when you perform your best for some reason. It happened to me a couple of times, but I don't know why is that.
He's looking for the inside. Is he going to go through and ahead of Gianmarco Ercole? Yes, he does. And Gianmarco Ercole isn't putting up a lot of defence at the moment. I think he's not got the car underneath him that he wants at this stage.
No, he seems to have trouble with the under braking going downhill. Maybe the rear is not underneath him like it was.
He might lose a further place here because Nelson Piquet Jr. drops through up the inside, and again no defence put in as well, so he knows something isn't quite where it needs to be in terms of the car at the moment, whether that be mechanical, whether that be tyres, but certainly not got the pace that you would have expected, and that has dropped him now down into 6th position at this stage. So it's 2 Fords first and second, then 2 Chevys, then 2 Fords, then 3 Chevys, and the leading the leading Toyota I should say, is now down to 10th place because Sebastian Bleekemolen was overtaken by Thomas Terfel, who has gained another place and got himself now in the number 34 up into 9th. That is a problem for Paul Geoffroy, and that is a front tyre issue.
Like a flat tyre.
Flat tyre, yeah. That's a front right, isn't it? So Paul Geoffroy, another driver.
Oh, he didn't get stuck. That's perfect for him.
He's not got stuck, but that's going to drop him right the way down through the order. He's got to limp his way all the way around the lap as well to try and bring that car back in and get a new hosier put on it. So he's another driver, present company accepted, that hasn't had the best of luck this weekend.
No. That's sad because he was making really, he had some speed for sure. I think he was pulling away quite a bit, but I think it started probably the lap prior because his lap time was dropping. Maybe it was a slow leak.
Slow puncture, yeah. Yeah, so it's not going to be a second place for Paul Geoffroy as it was yesterday in a win in the junior category. So the bad luck that's hit so many drivers this weekend has now hit him. So it is now going to be Jordan O'Brien that picks up the lead of the race. And Vittorio Garelli all of a sudden up into 2nd position. And Garrett Lowe, feeling second hand, is now up into the podium spots.
I told you, sometimes when you're not feeling your best, you're at your best on the racetrack. But what about Jordan? Wow, I talked to him this morning, and he said, I just need to get my car a little bit better. But I think that's what he did. Probably gave some good feedback to the team, and he's doing an awesome job.
He's doing a brilliant job. He's been hugely successful racing 5/8 scale motorcycle engine cars, legends in America. He's a multiple world champion in that particular one. Paul Geoffroy still limping his way back to the pit lane. Jordan O'Brien with a tail end of the car just sort of wiggling around under acceleration there as he came out of what was turn number 5 and up towards Aniel Nieto, which is turn number 6. Then Curva de la Fission, which is the kink at turn number 7, which I'm guessing is taken absolutely flat out, is it, before you brake for 8 as it drops away?
Yes, exactly. And he needs to stay calm now, because you don't want to push too hard and miss the corner, because you got the 24 car right behind you.
And I think Vittorio Gorelli, was he going to have a go there?
Oh, yeah, that was close.
That was, and that's not. Oh, there's a problem there. Jordan O'Brien outbrakes himself, then going into the next corner, and
Another
he's going
flat tire,
to.
or?
It looks like it. Something's not right with that car, isn't it? All of a sudden, he sort of had a problem under braking, and I'm afraid, not for the first time this weekend, the leading driver has got a problem, and
it's not a flat tire. Something in the rear.
It's not, but by the look of things, is that rear suspension? Because that rear tire is right onto the bodywork. Yeah. There's no gap in the wheel arch, is there, between the tyre and the body? So Jordan O'Brien, what a shame for him. And all of a sudden through this, who comes out on top? Vittorio Gorelli leads.
He said he was going to win.
He's not lying at the moment. There's still 9 laps to go and anything could happen. Garrett Lowe, who's feeling under the weather, is second. And who's third now? Nelson Piquet Jr.
Yeah, that's great. And the 13 car is now on the... He's attacking Curly, and I think he's going to complete the pass right there.
He is, yeah. Thomas
11 cars. Thomas something.
So yeah, Thomas Cressonas, apologies, up into 4th position. Let's go down to the pit lane and Andre.
The right front down, so a tire problem for Paul Geoffroy. Back to you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, we could see that the right front tyre was down, and at least Paul has made it back round into the pit lane, stick a new tyre on it, get the car back out again, get it circulating, and try and pick up some championship points in this one, because the point structure works in such a way as that the points go all the way down. Right the way down for sort of 27th onwards, 10 points, and to be classified as a finisher you only need to do 1 lap, so get back out there, get the laps in, pick up some points, and at least then you know if you have a bit more bad luck further down the season, that becomes your joker, and this one doesn't. Lead of the race is getting close.
Yeah, and did I see smoke from the 24 car?
It was doing that yesterday
Really?
at various points. Yeah, it was coming out of the exhausts yesterday, but I spotted a few laps ago. It seemed to be sort of coming out from underneath the car. And again, yeah,
look,
little
when
puff
he downshifted.
Yeah, a little puff of smoke there. So it didn't seem to harm his pace yesterday. Whatever it is, either the team have fixed it and it's back, or they've deemed it's not a problem. Are we going to have a change for the lead? No, he's too far away. But Garrett Lowe is doing a brilliant job at the wheel of the 99, the 24-year-old American, who was 6th in V8GP last year. I think it was 3 top 5 finishes for him, but I don't think he's had a podium in the past, has Garrett Lowe.
The fastest car on the track last lap was Nelson Piquet Jr., so he's, I think he's coming.
He is. He was 1/10 of a second quicker than Garrett Lowe. He was only he's a few thousandths. Yes, he was. Yeah, 1/10 of a second quicker than Garrett Lowe, 2/10 of a second quicker than the race leader. So they're closing up, aren't they? So it's
the smoke is. I hope it holds on for him.
Is it getting worse, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, we've just had 2 leaders that been out of the race, so hopefully it holds on for him.
Yeah, we've seen a few front runners fall foul of issues this weekend, and for Vittorio Gorelli, he has been so quick in this championship for the last few years. He is a former winner here. The last time that he won a race here was the opening race at 2024, was the last time that we saw him win at Ricardo Tormo. Further down through the order, Jack Davison has got his hands rather full. He is busy squabbling away with Vladimiris Choitsis, who has had a difficult weekend. So it's the Scotsman in the pink car, the Cypriot, that sits directly behind, and then it's Logan Bearden, I think, that is the next car thereafter. So they are going to be fighting over 11th, 12th and 13th positions at this stage, with Mark Housens not too far away either, as he sits there in 14th position. So fighting all the way down through the order at this stage, and as they turn their way up towards completion of 1 lap and on to the next, Vladimiris Choitsis looking as though he might get a good run here on the pink car of Jack Davidson.
Yeah, I think with 6 laps to go, it's time to push. you're not gonna save tire. You're not gonna use them tomorrow. So if you want to go, it's time.
Yep, the tyres are only going in the bin after this one. They'll be used as a spare set for testing, but they certainly aren't going to be pushed in race conditions anymore. Gianmarco Werkele still struggling with the car again, as he has done for several laps. He's not putting up a great deal of defence, and that is Vinny Mascalis that now goes through. That's the man who has come off the very back of the grid and is now up into 7th in the 76 car.
Yep, that's a good pass for him right there. I don't know if the 11 car is having trouble with his brake. It seems like he's losing everything on the braking, but oh well. He won yesterday, so it was a great day yesterday for him. Not so much today, but he's still in 7th place, so still pretty good.
Still in 7th place, which will still net him 30 championship points, which will be 10 less than the race winner is heading towards. And that race winner at the moment is looking as though it could be Vittorio Gorelli, unless Garrett Lowe has got any answers to the questions that the Italian is asking at this stage. Still not far off them is Nelson Piquet Jr., who last time through was quicker than Garrett Lowe by 0.2 of a second and was by a few thousandths quicker than the race leader. So he's still on his way, isn't he, Nelson Piquet Jr., with what's going to be 6 laps to go, 5 laps to go in a few moments' time.
Yeah, it seems like Garrett Lowe is pushing as hard as possible right there. Vittorio Gorelli is not getting away.
No, Gorelli's not getting away. The gap is 0.5 of a second now, as Garrett Lowe was just a fraction of a second quicker than the race leader. Vittorio Gorelli running out quite wide coming out of turn number 1 at Aspar. You can only do that a few times before race control will be happy.
You got to be careful with those track limits for sure, because after a couple warning, you get 10-second penalty, so you definitely don't want that.
No, the first one you get away with sort of free. The second one, they probably give you a warning. The third one, the penalties rack up. And then if you keep doing it, you'll end up with drive-throughs or being told to come in and park the car.
I think it goes 10 more seconds each time. Yeah, definitely don't want that.
You really do not want that, no, absolutely. So still these squabbles going out on circuit. Lock brakes there from Logan Bearden as he tried to anchor up the number 30 and try and keep Vladimiris Choitsis at bay. So that's been a change for 12th and 13th, because Choitsis was ahead of the 30. He's now gone behind him this time through. So Bearden is now up into 12th position. Vladimir Choitsis is down to 13th, and Mark Goossens, with all of his experience racing single-seaters and sports cars and Euro NASCAR over the years, and a fantastic career on both sides of the Atlantic, really, as Mark Goossens. He's sitting there in 14th position, trying to pick up the pieces of those ahead.
Yeah, it seems like they can't really get away from each other. They've been really close all race long.
There's another puff of smoke there from Logan Bearden's car. I'm guessing that's brakes.
I think that was a lockup, yeah.
Was it? Yeah. So, again, just that unloaded wheel, isn't it, at that stage? So, Vittorio Gorelli back over the start-finish line. The top 3 still close to each other, but I think Vittorio Gorelli, has he responded to those behind last time through? Yes. He was a 1/10 of a second quicker than Garrett Lowe. But still the quickest car out there is the car in 3rd place, Nelson Piquet Jr. at this stage. He's doing 43.2s. The race leader was a 43.4. So he's still edging up, isn't he? But he's running out of time, and he's running out of laps now, because there's only 4 to go.
Yeah, he's been really fast for sure, but I don't know if maybe Vittorio is managing the gap also. We don't know how hard he's pushing. Maybe he's just trying to stay up front and save his tire if there's a late race caution or something.
Into the pit lane, and that car looks as though it's crabbing a little bit as it came in, and that is Ulysse Delceau. So is that a tow link gone?
Maybe. You don't want that, definitely.
No, it certainly looked as though it was struggling. So Ulysse Delceau. The one thing I want to try and keep an eye on as well is the progress of the 34. 2 times a race winner in the open category, Thomas Toffel, who is now about a second behind Julian Ryberg. And that will be for 5th and 6th position if they get themselves together at this stage. But that's been a brilliant drive from 21st on the grid for Thomas Toffel, and the car that's 7th, which is Vinny Mascalis, has come through from what will be 23rd on the grid. So those 2 cars have really made some good overtakes.
Yeah, and Thomas Toffel was a little bit faster than the leader the last lap. So, another
Another change of position, another place lost for Gianmarco Ercoli. Sebastian Bleekie-Molen goes through this time. So Gianmarco Ercoli, from having started off the front row of the grid and always struggling for pace in this race, even more so as it's worn on, whatever we think is going on possibly breaks, is now down into 9th position. Might drop out the top 10 because Jack Davidson in the pink car is not too far behind. Logan Bearden is just off that. Then you've got the black car with the light blue flashes, which is Vladimir Choitsis, followed by Mark Goosen. So Ercoli, it's a case of trying to hang on now.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not happy. I'm sure he's trying as hard as he can, but there's definitely something wrong. Or maybe he pushed too hard yesterday, but I feel like with the experience he's got with these cars, I'm sure it's not that he pushed too hard yesterday.
No, I suspect there's just something that's not quite right at this stage, because it's a very un-Ercoli performance,
Yeah,
isn't
exactly.
it? So back to the lead of the race, just 0.5 of a second between Vittorio Garelli and Garrett Lowe, who sits there in 2nd position. Nelson Piquet Jr., who was close to them, has now sort of fallen away a bit now and almost feels as though he's sort of settled for 3rd to be the first Ford home at that stage, because it's the 2 Chevys out front that are battling it out at this stage. Last time through, they were within 20,000ths of a second of each other on pace, so the gap isn't changing much at this stage. But if Garrett Lowe has got anything left underneath him, now's the time to start to really push and ask the Italian that leads, the double champion, what have you got that you can defend with?
Yeah, I think Garrett Lowe is having a really, really good performance right now. He just need to try to apply as much pressure as he can to Vittorio, but I'm sure with the experience that he's got, Vittorio is probably cruising right now and having some fun, but you never know. You need to push him to try to make him make a mistake.
And Vittorio Garelli, of course, he's one of those that has won the Open division before he moved up to the V8GP division. He was the Open champion in 2020. He won the V8GP championship in 2024 and 2025. Wherever he's been, whichever category, he's always been a driver to watch out for. Black and white warning flag going out for Sebastian Bleekie-Molen, and that will be to do with the track limits at this stage. So there's the warning that we're talking about. So if he wants to hang on to 8th, he can't afford to run wide again, I wouldn't have thought.
No, you don't want that, because the next warning is a 10-second penalty. But yeah, you can see the 99 car is trying. He's trying. Turn 2, he blew past it a little bit under braking and even had some lockup. But he's trying as hard as he could. I think he wants that win.
He certainly is pushing as hard as he can. They head through Curva de l'Affichon and up towards the braking area for turn 8, which is Bernard Martinez. And then from there, the circuit sort of drops away slightly through turn number 9 and then in towards that tricky braking area as Garrett Lowe runs wide there coming out of turn number 9. Tricky braking area here because you're trying to rotate the car and turn in at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm telling you. He's trying. He's giving it all he's got, for sure.
You don't leave anything on the table at this stage, do you? You give it 110%.
Yeah, you can see him sliding around. That's what racing is all about. Getting to the maximum, to the limit of the race car. That's what I love about racing.
For me, it's just nice when you get behind a car and you've got, yes, it's sliding, but it's beautifully controlled sliding, isn't it? On the very edge, isn't it? It's just like ballet.
Yeah, exactly. You always try to find the limit to where you're sliding, but you're not slowing yourself down.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Garrett Lowe has dropped away a little bit from Vittorio Garelli, and the timing screen confirms that Garelli was 0.2 of a second quicker over the last lap than Garrett Lowe, and they are now on their final lap of the race this time through. It certainly looks now as though, Nelson Piquet Jr. knows he's destined for 3rd place, so just stroke the car home. He's 2.5 seconds off the leading pair. He's got 2 seconds over the car behind, so he can just afford to maintain that gap and leave the leading pair to work it out, because if they were to try something, if Garrett Lowe tried something, Vittorio Garelli was destined that he wanted to defend them. Nelson Piquet Jr. is still in the best place, isn't he, in 3rd to pick up the spoils. So out of Aniel Nieto, and then starting to build the speeds again through the flat-out kink at curve number 7 as they're working their way through now. And then in towards turn number 8, Bernard Martinez for the final time. Vittorio Garelli looking to add to the tally of race wins that he has had in the V8 GP division. He's on 15 race wins at the moment. Gianmarco Urli got his 14th yesterday to close the gap a little bit, and it looks so today Garelli is going to reinstate that gap between the pair of them. He's looking on course for his 15th, isn't he?
Yeah, it's. I think he's gonna get it for sure. And it almost seems like he was managing the gap, like I said, because he's driving away on that last lap.
There's that puff of smoke again, and it really hasn't hampered the speed. We saw it yesterday all day, but Vittorio Garelli comes out of the final corner, which is Adrian Campos, and is about to accelerate his way over the start-finish line. The checkered flag is out, and the second race of the season in the NASCAR Euro Series V8GP division goes the way of the reigning champion. Vittorio Garelli comes through to claim the win for himself, for Chevrolet, and for PK Car Sport. Garrett Lowe, I've got to say hats off to Garrett Lowe for feeling not very well and still finishing in second position. I think that's his first podium in the V8GP category. And Nelson Piquet Jr., you know, he was really disappointed with the way the race went yesterday. You know, the next day is always a new day. There's always new prospect, and here we are. He's on the podium to finish off the weekend.
Yeah, congrats to all of them. And what about Thomas Krasonis and Thomas Toffel? They came from far, really, really far, and they finished 4th and 5th.
Yeah, brilliant
and
drive.
6th.
Brilliant drive from both of those, and once we work it all out, I suspect the overtakes, the extra 4 points for gaining the most positions, is going to go the way of Thomas Toffel, because the way it works in terms of the regulations, if two drivers have the same number of places gained over their other driver, then it's the one that finishes higher up will get the points. And there clearly was a problem with Urquely's car, because it comes to a halt, he's out of the car immediately. He looks shattered, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks... there was definitely something wrong. Either he's tired or he's not feeling well, I don't know. Maybe the engine stopped or something, but...
Or maybe, a bit like yesterday with Beitske-Visser, power steering issues. She said she was absolutely shattered after the race, but Gianmarco Urquely does not look well there. He does not look well, so let's hope that the marshals there look after him. The medical team will be on the way just to assist him, and if it's just a case of heat exhaustion, then I'm sure they'll get some fluids into him very quickly. So just to confirm the results, then Vittorio Garelli claims the win. That is his 16th win in the NASCAR V8GP division, or its predecessors. Garrett Lowe finishes in second place, and the first Ford home was Nelson Piquet Jr., who was third. Thomas Krasonis was there in fourth place, ahead of Julian Ryberg, who was fifth. And what a result from 21st on the grid for Thomas Toffel, who comes through to finish in 6th position, with Vinny Mascalis from 23rd on the grid to finish in 7th, ahead of his teammate Sebastian Bleekemolen, who was there in 8th place. They were the first two of the Toyotas home. Jack Davidson was 9th, and Logan Bearden completes the top 10 at this stage. So the cars making their way back into the pit lane. Vittorio Garelli said he was going to win before the race. At some points it didn't look like he was going to, but the stars aligned.
Yeah, he had his game face on, and he said he was going to win. He was confident. The car was good. He did everything he had to do to win, and congrats to him. Congrats to his team. Really great effort.
A really good effort from him. Of course, we've got the top three overall. We'll also have the Junior Trophy and the Challenger Trophy as well. So let's just see if we can work out as to who is going to pick up the spoils in that. The Junior Trophy spoils will go the way of Garrett Lowe. That is absolutely for sure, in 2nd position. And then if we look towards where the Challenger Trophy goes, I'm not sure Sebastian Bleekemolen is eligible for that one, so I think we have to look further down through the order. It might be even Mark Goosens. Is he eligible for that one? No, he's not. I think it's going to be the 54. I think it's 54, yes. I think it's Giovanni Cartacchini. It doesn't say on our timing screen. It would usually have a little C or a J beside it to identify the subcategories, but they're not there on the timing screen this weekend, so it's a case of having to cross-reference to the entry list everywhere. So that's our racing action done and dusted. We've got the podiums coming up for you in Victory Lane. Before all of that, of course, we will have our interviews as well, because Vittorio Garelli, Garrett Lowe and Nelson Piquet Jr. will all be heading in towards Victory Lane, which, as you know, it's always a special place to be. Yeah,
I wish I could have get a taste of it here earlier.
Paul Ricard in 4 wins.
Yeah, maybe. That's a goal, But it's too bad for Jordan and Paul Geoffroy. They were really quick. I think they could have maybe got themselves a win.
Yeah, Paul Geoffroy's was the puncture. As for Jordan's, we think it's something in the rear suspension, don't we, on the right-hand side, or the rear axle.
Yeah, for sure.
So Vittorio Garelli in front of the huge crowd that we got at Ricardo Tormo. Fantastic podium as well, which is all LED backlit. There was live music being played there over the lunch break. He is now getting the thumbs up that he's okay to get out of the car. He bangs the roof. He's delighted with his first win of 2026. He's done plenty of winning over the years, whether it be in the V8 GP division or whether it be in the open category. And off will come the gloves. Off will come.
I'm sure it's hot.
I'm not sure that's going to hydrate him the same way as water will, though. No, he's not going to drink it. He's just going to spray the San Miguel. Fantastic Spanish beer over the car and over the team as well. And then the next job is to run over and congratulate them, because, you know, it is the guys and the girls back in the garage that allow you to take the win in the first place.
Yeah, they do at least 50% of the job. If they don't do a good job and prepare it well, we're not going to perform well.
Well, I know some of the teams last night were up at 1 a.m. still working on cars after the incidents yesterday. The latest I heard one of the teams went to bed was 3 a.m. this morning to ensure that the car that had gone off in the V8GP race was ready and available for the open division driver for your race earlier on today, for instance.
They're the one that make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it is, you know, they say motorsport is glamorous. When you're working on a race car in the dark at 3 a.m. in the morning, no, I tend to disagree, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I disagree on that, but you got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely. It is a team game. You win together, you lose together. And, well, for PK Car Sport, they've done plenty of winning over the years. Anthony Kumpen, who is the man behind PK Car Sport, the family team, he is a champion as well in the past in the V8 GP division. Anthony is a double former champion, isn't he? So he was a champion, I think, for the first time in 2014, and then secured the championship in 2016 as well, but has been a front runner for a good number of years. He's still a quick driver himself, as and when we see him out, but always PK Car Sport turn out a very, very quick car as well. And I think the team squabble at the sharp end is going to be between them, your team, Illumitech, and RDV Competition. Seem to have had the pace, the three teams this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I don't know what happened with Eric Coley, but that car was very, very fast all weekend.
We'll see how Promotion and Speed House and all the others get on as well, because all the teams are absolutely going to be pushing. Let's go down to the pit lane. Our first interview will be with the race winner.
I'm here with Vittorio Garelli. The champ is back. What a race for you, right?
Yeah, it was really an amazing race. We were a bit lucky as Paul had some issue. He was very fast, but I mean, these guys are the best. We had a few issues yesterday, broken axle. We worked hard all night. They stayed awake until 4 a.m. and now the car was great, delivered the result, got the points hole, and yeah, it's still a long way, long battle, but we're in for it.
I have to ask about the next race. A totally unknown territory, Les Castellets in France. What do you expect there?
Yeah, we will be fast as usual with the PK Car Sport. 24 is always there. We went also testing there, so we did a good program, and we will try to kill them as always.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations. Vittorio, of course you get something, right?
So there we go, Vittorio Garelli chatting to Andre. He gets the winner's sticker, so he will pop that onto the car, and absolutely there's going to be more of those this year. Interesting to say, they've already been testing at Le Castellet, so does that give them a slight upper hand in 4 weeks' time?
Yeah, for sure. It's a big advantage every time you get to test a new track, but I can't wait to see that racetrack. I've never been, It's my second time in Europe, so never been there, but it's going to be quite interesting, but it's going to be everybody's gonna be in the same it's gonna be new for everybody.
Yeah,
so that's fun. I like that. The people that are gonna adapt the quicker are gonna be the best for sure.
Yeah, it starts as a level playing field when everybody
that's what I was just searching
arrives. For. So there we go. Let's go back down again, because I think this time Andreas managed to find Nelson Piquet Jr.
Yes, that's the second race in the NASCAR Euro Series. First podium. How was it so far?
It was a tough race. I must say that we're still struggling. You know, it's a new team. Everybody to understand each other, myself to understand the regulation, how everything works. It's a process, you know, even though I've driven many different cars, but sometimes not only about the car, it's about the procedures, the regulations, you know, how these tires work, how hot they can get. I mean, it's a lot of things which, as we are a new team, we don't have that much information to jump a few steps. So yesterday was a shame that the race ended soon with the incident in the beginning. But today the car seemed okay. There's still room for improvement. I still think that we could have won the race if, obviously, it's easy to say this now that when the car is a bit more an adjustment here or there. But it was good to finish a race, to understand the car, the temperatures, how the tires dag. That's one of the most important features in any race car is knowing what's the limit of the tire and using it at its best. So it's going to be a process, but yeah, for sure we're leaving with a bit of a smile.
Let's go to the emotional side. You mentioned you raced so many different race cars. How are those cars?
I mean, every car has its own qualities or differences. I think what any driver looks for is a good team and wanting to win races. Doesn't matter if it's a go-kart, a Formula One, a NASCAR, everything I've driven in my life. What we're all looking for is a good team, a good environment, and winning races. So honestly, that's all I'm looking for here is, I'm going to help Alan to really build this and make this into a successful team. As much as he knows a lot about this series, I was born in a racetrack basically, so I feel that we can combine a bit of energy and build this together.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations. Back to you, Mark. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, good to hear from Nelson Piquet Jr. there. He's absolutely right. He has grown up since he was first born around racing. That is all he knows.
Yeah, I think he's gonna bring to this team a lot, definitely a lot of experience, a lot of things to get better at. But it's gonna be an exciting year to see how better he gets throughout this season.
So we've heard from Vittorio Garelli, we've heard from Nelson Piquet Jr. The one driver we haven't heard from yet is Garrett Lowe, who finished second. He's with Andre.
Garrett, we know that you're not feeling that well. Thank you for joining us even here at the podium. But still, it was a great race for you, right?
Yeah, it was, man. I think we had the best car. And it's not often you're racing against probably the best car in the field for the win. So I'm disappointed. I'm more mad at myself because I thought I could sit there and just pace off of him for about the last 6 laps and then go. And as soon as I went, I burned the rear tires off. So congrats to those guys. They did a good job just kind of sitting there pacing me. But yeah, I mean, we had a great car this weekend. I'm disappointed we didn't finish higher in race 1 now looking back because I realized how good of a car we had. But yeah, props to the promotion team. They stayed 3 or 4 o'clock last night to rescale it and do it again and get it better. So we were close.
All right, so congratulations and get well soon. Thank you so much. Back to you, Adam. Mark, sorry, Mark.
As I said yesterday, it's Mark this year. Adam was last year, last 4 years. No offence taken, no offence taken. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning we're now hearing. These teams have had a tough weekend.
Yeah, definitely. They went to work, but it paid off.
Yeah.
It paid off for sure. They're at the podium. That's the most important.
And our podiums will be taking place shortly. We'll probably squeeze some more interviews in as well because we've spoken to the top 3. We have not spoken to the next driver. So let's go down and see who Andre has managed to find this time to chat to in victory lane.
I'm here with Jordan O'Brien. And Jordan, before the weekend, you told me I don't feel like a pro racing in a V8GP. No, you were in front. You had the lead. Unfortunately, something went wrong. Can you explain me what happened and how was it to be in the front?
Well, I mean, lucky enough in my amateur career, I've, been successful enough in races to have some experience leading a race, so I wasn't too uncomfortable out front. I knew that everybody had a plan and a strategy, so it was kind of just letting the race play out. Everybody was saving tires at the beginning, trying to be smart for the end of the race, and, I was trying to do the same. So I saw the race starting to come to me as the cars in front started to have their issues, and I thought I was in a pretty solid spot. The clean air, the car really liked the clean air. It's pretty much the first time all weekend we've been able to have any. So honestly, we felt really good, and I think I had the pace to control the majority of the race. I mean, we had an easy podium and definitely a shot at the win. So I would have loved to see how it could have played out, but it is what it is, and you can only control what you can control, and now it's just kind of head down, and hopefully we can focus on next race. I mean, at the moment we don't have anything secured for France, so hopefully we can see you all there. But I definitely want to take a moment to especially thank my main sponsor, the Barchetta Collection. A huge thank you to them, because as most of you know, I wasn't supposed to be here. I got this whole deal sorted out 5 days before the race, and I only met my sponsor 12 days before that. So to say it was a whirlwind is an understatement. So I'm just happy we were able to be here, and a huge thank you to them, and a huge thank you to everybody. This venue is pretty cool, and all the Spanish fans are the best. So we're happy.
So fingers crossed that you will be back for France. Thank you so much. And I think I have Thomas Crasones ready, trying to do a little bit multitasking and catching you. I was seeing you. So yesterday, not the best day. Today, what a comeback.
Yeah, good day. Obviously, okay, let's be real. We had the tires, but that doesn't mean anything. We were, you know, it means something, but we also were 1 second quicker than everybody towards the end. Like, the pace was incredible, 0 mistakes. But yeah, you arrive in the front. I passed a lot of guys, but you arrive in the front. I tried a lot for the podium, but obviously, I mean, you know, Nelson Piquet, super experienced drivers. Also, Love get a lot of experience last year. Was fighting with Vittorio, was focused. Vittorio is Vittorio, 2-time champion, trying not able to make a mistake. Very difficult to make him to make a mistake. So, yeah, when I arrived there, I pushed, but it was impossible to catch Nelson. I was little bit, but anyway, we will push back in France for sure. It was an unlucky weekend, but at least we got a lot of points for today. I hope that the first race is my joker for the season, and I don't have to make another bad result until the playoffs. So yeah, thank you to my sponsors, Costa Mare Shipping, for making everything possible. Thank you to my incredible team, PK Carsport, Anthony Kumpen, Gunther, Bavo, Ralph, Serafim, Yorgos, Luke, to so many people that for sure I forget, Jarne, Carlo, everybody on the team, and my family. So yeah, I said a lot. See you guys in France, and yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you so much. See you in a few weeks. That's also it from me here from Victory Lane. My name is Andre Wiegold. Take over, Mark.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks for your help this weekend, Andre. That is it from him for the moment, but you still, I'm afraid, got to put up with myself, who is joined by Raphael Lessard, who is going to remain with me, hopefully, until we finish the broadcast once the podiums are done, and then we've got a few highlights to go through. So every driver has a story, doesn't it? From the outside, it looks as though, okay, Garelli took the win, and Garrett Lowe was second, and Nelson Piquet was third, and Thomas Crasones was fourth, but there's a different story in every one of those race car drivers.
Yeah, I can see Thomas Crasones was pushing, because you can see on his face how hot he was and how tired he looked, because I think coming from the back and with how hot it is outside, he was definitely giving all he had. And also Jordan, I hope he secures a seat for France, because we saw how good he was today, and I think he could have had that win. So congrats to him for his performance. Just sad that the car broke leading, which I know what it feels like from yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you absolutely know that chapter of the book, don't you? But I liked his attitude as well. Of course you're going to be disappointed. Of course you are. But you know, he hasn't forgotten that he wasn't even supposed to be here. That the sponsor that introduced him, the Barchetta collection, he only met a few days before that, and here he is having put on, yes, a disappointing result, but fantastic pace.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Fantastic pace. He's been really fast. So I'm sure maybe his sponsor is going to be really happy with the performance, and he's going to say, let's go to France. He did all he could do. Sponsor-like performance in that sport. So when you perform, when you're out front, get them excited.
Get them excited and be honest about it, and also have the right attitude when things don't go right. That for me is a good sportsman.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I tried to do today and yesterday.
a good brand ambassador.
Yes, you always got to take the positive out of it.
Yep.
There's always positive in every situation. Sometimes you turn the page and you go at it again even harder.
Hey, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but sometimes they say it's easy, you just turn the wheel.
It's certainly not that. You can see there Vittorio Garelli wiping his brow there and just looking as though he is bushed and done for the day. What about also poor old Gianmarco Ercoli? We knew something wasn't quite right. Maybe it wasn't the car after all. Maybe it was Gianmarco was clearly uncomfortable.
Yeah, we saw him on the ground after the race. I don't know. I hope he's okay. I'm going to go see him after. Hopefully everything is fine, but that was weird. Maybe it got hot in there, or he wasn't feeling good this morning. But yeah, that's a bad deal for sure.
Hopefully he'll have found his way. Either he's got some fluids on board or getting out of the car has helped him. If not, I'm sure they'll probably just precautionary take him to the medical centre, give him a check over, just double check that everything is okay, and then either deal with it if it's not, but equally then back to the team. Go and sit in somewhere cool, get some fluids on board, relax, and hopefully he'll be feeling fine. Do keep me posted. We'll probably wander down and chat to him later on off microphone just to double check that Jimmy Jett's okay. So we're going to get our podiums underway for this one, because it's the Pro Division. We should have separate podiums coming up, which will be the race podium. We will also have the fastest driver of the event award. We will also have for our teams awards, as it's the final race of the weekend, the Junior Trophy and the Challenger Trophy as well. So we'll get the first of those underway because the drivers are heading on towards the podium now. And the first of those that's heading onto the podium will be the driver that finished in 3rd place overall. Nelson Piquet Jr. heads onto the podium. And then he will be joined by driver that finished in 2nd place, Garrett Lowe, who was chatting just a few moments ago to Andre Weigand in the victory lane area. But the top step of the podium and his 16th career win in the NASCAR top division goes the way of Vittorio Gorelli. The fans are delighted with that. They are all gathering around our podium here. Now we've got the top 3 drivers on the podium. It's time for the national anthem of the winning driver. So there we go, national anthem of our winning driver. Now that we have played our national anthem, it's time for our trophies to be presented to the top 3 by our guests there on the podium. The first trophy to be presented will be to the driver that finished in 3rd place overall in his first weekend of racing in the NASCAR Euro Series. It is Nelson Piquet Jr. that secures 3rd place overall in the category. Then the trophy will be presented to our 2nd place driver, which is going to be Garrett Lowe, who I think did a sterling job considering that he really wasn't feeling too well when he woke up this morning. But that podium has put a nice big smile on his face for the moment. I think he's still living on the adrenaline at this stage. He might feel slightly more second-hand a little bit later on. And then the winner's trophy will go the way of Vittorio Gorelli, who wins the 2nd race of the season in the NASCAR Euro Series V8GP division. So we'll get the official photographs taken there on the podium, and once all of the official photographs have been taken, which will appear on social media shortly, we'll get some champagne underway as well. And as they've done all weekend, they will then also ask the drivers to turn around on the podium so that the next batch of photographs are taken with the crowd in the background to encourage the crowd to support these podiums. So there are our top 3 drivers, flanked by our representatives there on the first of the podiums that we will see. And then once the drivers have done with that, just give those on the podium the opportunity to vacate the podium, and then they can make merry with the champagne. So as we said earlier on, don't need to worry about the overalls anymore now. They can soak each other on the podium. Once our special guests have gone away, the confetti cannons go off. Vittorio Gorelli right to the very edge of the podium, and that was all rather well behaved. They weren't spraying each other there to the same degree, I don't think, were they, Raphael?
Yeah, that's the most fun. It's always fun to spray everybody, all your fans, your team, your companion on the podium.
It's not fun though when you haven't got time to have a shower before you then catch your flight back somewhere.
That's terrible.
That's not good, is it?
It's bad for the people sitting beside you.
So there we go. We've had our cannons go off. I think the final batch of photographs will just be taken now on the fantastic looking podium celebration that is going on. So drivers are asked to spin round. final photographs being taken. There's the shot, look, with the crowd in the background. They're all asked to wave, hands all aloft in the background, big smiles all around. And that is the first of our podiums done. I think it's great that they do that, don't they?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think the fans love it too.
They do, they absolutely do. And just to confirm as well, news has just reached us that Gianmarco Ercoli is in the Circuit Medical Centre just for evaluation at this stage. Further updates will be given on social media, or you can look at NASCAR.eu is the official line at this stage. So we simply don't know. It's being looked into at the moment. And so do keep an eye on our socials for that one. But we all wish Gianmarco well, and hopefully it's just a very small little blip and he'll be feeling fine within a few moments. So first podium is done. The next podium should be for the fastest driver of the event, and that will be
That's me.
Was it?
Yeah. My qualifier was the fastest lap time of the weekend.
Was it? Oh, well done to you. Unfortunately, you don't get the fantastic TGA ring, the titanium ring. That is going the way of Vittorio Garelli, so he'll be pleased. That TGA have been one of our partners within the championship for a very, very good number of years now. I think they first appeared probably in something like 2018, 2019, something like that. So they've been a long-time supporter now of the NASCAR Euro Series. And Vittorio's got enough of those. Maybe you can ask if you can have that one then.
Yeah, I don't know if they went about the race or qualify, but...
It is the race, I'm afraid.
Okay, qualify, I was the fastest, I know.
And there speaks a racing driver. There speaks a racing driver. So the next award should be the team award that is coming up, and this is the team that finished third in the team award. So the two drivers and the team manager should be heading up in the endurance team category. And that is one of those for which should you be on this podium, because it is going to be your team that's coming up shortly.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes, I've only just spotted that, I'm afraid. So if they're looking for Raphael, he's in the commentary box at the moment. So you might have a better idea as to which team members are heading up to represent the number 11 car and Team Illumitech, because they are the third best team this weekend. And then just awaiting for our Spanish circuit announcer. So there is Roman Iniesta. The rest of them I don't recognise. Maybe there's a few name calls you might be able to remember. I know you've not known this team long.
Yeah, I don't know all the names yet.
it's like when you first go to school or start a new job.
Yes.
It takes a while, doesn't it?
It takes a while.
I can tell you Romain Iniesta is the one with the sunglasses on, and after that I'm a little bit lost, I'm afraid. And they haven't. It says they're going to get the drivers up, but I can see that Gianmarco understandably isn't there, and you're not there. Yep. So we don't have drivers represented there, unfortunately, for Team Illumitech. Second best team of the weekend, and that is again going to be the drivers and team managers heading up there, and that will be as and when they head onto the podium, Cal Racing. So Cal Racing make their way up there again. Another very successful team who've claimed championships in the NASCAR Euro Series over the years, and there I can see we have got Giovanni Cartacchini, but I can't see that we have got Claudio Capelli there. Oh, Claudio is there. He's sat down, isn't he? He's sat down. You've met Claudio so far, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. And the winners of the team category this weekend, it's the number 69 car, Team Blakey Molen, which is going to be Sebastian Blakey Molen and Melvin de Groot, who are on what will be the top step of the team category for this one. So congratulations to them. They have had a solid weekend of racing, and as we've said earlier on, it is a team game, isn't it? And it's nice that we see at the end of the weekend, at the end of racing, all of our racing, that the teams are given their just rewards as well with a separate podium.
Yeah, it's different than every series I've been in. Usually it's only the driver, the podium, the top three that gets a trophy, but now here it seems a lot different. You get a trophy, even the woman gets a trophy, I think.
There's lady trophy,
yeah. The lady.
We had 3 ladies on the podium earlier.
So that's really fun to see.
Well, the good thing is that, you know, if you are a driver that's new to this level of motorsport and you're coming in, you're not going to be winning races overall. So to encourage them, because you are having competitions either with new drivers who are young like you coming in, or if you're slightly more mature like myself, you're eligible for the Legend Trophy by a long chalk as well. Then, you know, you're not going to be as quick as the youngsters, because you see fear, don't you? So you're fighting away for the Legend Trophy of drivers that are of the similar age to you, and that all helps, doesn't it? Because it creates a competition within a competition.
Yeah, and it gets you motivated. a little bit more to get a trophy. You always want a trophy. So anyway you can get one, it's always fun.
There we go. This is going to be the best of the champagne fights, because this is the team champagne fight, and they don't care anymore. All of the hard work is done. They've got to clear up still and pack away, but there we go.
They might be flying in a couple hours too.
They will be, yeah. If you've got somebody that smells alongside you at the plane of alcohol, it's probably because they've been sprayed with champagne on our podium here at Ricardo Tormo. Still got 2 more podiums coming up for you before we then start to look at our replay of the race that we've just seen, and we will then say our goodbyes for this one. If you need to go, please tell me.
How long?
Probably about another 5 minutes at this stage.
Okay, I'm good.
You're good. Right, that's fine.
I'm not leaving right now.
I didn't want to hold you back if you were being polite and wanted to go. So we do thank you, Rafael Lassard, for joining me. So our next podium should be for the junior trophy. So that is drivers aged under 25 years of age, or 25 and under to be absolutely precise, that race in the Euro NASCAR V8GP division. And the first of those drivers will be making their way onto the podium very shortly indeed. And that will be the driver that finished in 5th position. The driver that finished in, 5th position overall, because the junior drivers were right at the sharp end of this one. And it is going to be onto the podium. Julian Ryberg is going to be the first of those that will head up onto our junior podium. I think he's just been called forward now. So there goes Julian Ryberg up onto 3rd place on the podium. 2nd spot on the podium is Thomas Crasones. And then the top step of the junior podium, first of those drivers home, aged 25 and under, Garrett Lowe. So big smile on his face. 2nd overall in the race, the first of the junior category drivers home. And for somebody that has not been feeling well, to go home with 2 trophies is not a bad day's work.
I think a 2nd place finish gets you feeling better.
For sure, absolutely, for sure. So trophies given out, first of all, to Julian Ryberg. There is Thomas Crasones, and then Garrett Lowe, who is about to receive his trophy as well. It's amazing to see how many drivers like yourself are flying over the Atlantic to each one of these races we have in the NASCAR Euro Series. It's a big commitment for drivers like you and for Garrett Lowe.
Yeah, it's about an 8-hour flight every time, and it's a 6-hour time difference. Yeah. And it's funny because Thomas, I saw him this winter in February at New Smyrna in Florida.
Yeah.
We were racing against each other down there, so now we see each other again in Spain. So it's pretty fun.
It is bizarre. Motorsport is quite a small world as well, actually, isn't it? You bump into people that you wouldn't expect to bump into them in that position and that place. I remember stepping off a boat after we'd flown from on a seaplane and taken 2 flights to get from the UK over to the Maldives, and the first person I saw was somebody that races Porsches in the UK. First person I saw as I stepped onto the atoll in the Maldives. So that is our next podium. We've got one more podium coming up for you, and this is going to be for the Challenger Trophy. And heading on to the podium, we should have had Brad Ranson already up. Alex Caffey hops up onto the podium, and Giovanni Cartacchini heads up onto the top step of the podium. And Alex Caffey there in the footwork overalls. He wore a set of overalls yesterday that he would have used when he was racing. They were replicas of Scuderia Italia, which was when he finished 4th in the Monaco Grand Prix. And those are the footwork overalls that he again has replicated. Fantastic to see them. That brings real great memories back for me. If what would have been, I think 1991, he would have raced the footwork car in Formula 1. He receives his trophy, and then the top trophy goes the way of Giovanni Cartacchini, who receives his trophy on the podium. And then once they have posed for their official photographs, that should then be our podium celebrations done and dusted. So all of the drivers hop up onto the top step of the podium, the number 1 down below, and then with all of the drivers getting the final few photographs taken. That concludes our podium presentations here in Valencia at Ricardo Tormo. But let's look back at some of the highlights from the race that we've just seen in the NASCAR Euro Series V8GP division. So huge crowd gathered at the start of this race. Looking forward to some of the action out on circuit. As ever, plenty of opportunities for the fans to engage with the drivers on the run in to our 18-lap race. Once the national anthems had been played, then drivers preparing themselves ahead of what are really warm conditions here this weekend, and they would be pushing hard, knowing full well that the cars would lose tyre degradation towards the end. When the lights went out, Gianmarco Ercoli and Paul Giuffreau were fighting together for the lead of the race. They both ran wide through turn number 1 and still stayed side by side as they went through turn number 2 at Aspar, but it would be Gianmarco Ercoli that would grab the lead of the race from Paul Giuffreau in second position in the early stages. There was a spin early on in the order as Giovanni Cartacchini, who we've just seen on the podium, dipped the rear wheels into the gravel, but thankfully he could get going. Vittorio Garelli was involved in a great fight with Garrett Lowe, whilst also dropping through the order was the number 11 car. The safety car came out briefly, full course caution came out briefly for a full course yellow, and when the lights went back to green flag racing, of course communication between drivers and spotters allow the drivers to know when we're going to go green again, and there was some sort of miscommunication or an issue with the radio for the number 11 car. That happened earlier on in the day in the Open Series race, so Gianmarco Ercoli was caught napping to a degree, which meant that Paul Giuffreau would pick up the lead of the race from Jordan O'Brien, the two of them ahead of Gianmarco Ercoli, who had dropped to third position. Paul Giuffreau was looking to try and open up a gap. Gianmarco Ercoli was looking to try and recover after his problem. He tried to thread his way through and past Jordan O'Brien and would go through back up into second place, and the American down into third position. However, there were more twists in the story as yet, because Paul Giuffreau, as you will see shortly, was going to have some problems, and he wouldn't be the only one that would have issues. Good fight going on between Jack Davidson, who was busy squabbling away with Thomas Terfel. Thomas had come from 21st on the grid to start his work through the order. He wasn't the only driver that was carving his way through the order, because we also saw Thomas Crasonis fighting away to see if he could bring the number 13 car more towards the sharp end. Good squabble with him and Sebastian Bleekie-Molen. He went round the outside at turn number 3, which gave him the inside line for turn number 4, and he would gain the place, would the Greek driver, over the hugely experienced Sebastian Bleekie-Molen. Sebastian, though, under pressure a little bit, would then lose a further place to Julian Ryberg and would start to drop a shade through the order. He still would finish, though, inside the top 8. Towards the front of the order, it looked as though Paul Giuffreau was getting away, and up to second with a great move past Gianmarco Ercoli went the number 50 car in the hands of Jordan O'Brien. For Ercoli, though, there were clearly some problems in his car, because he didn't seem to be putting up a great deal of the defence. The car was slowing. We assumed it was tyres. However, that wasn't to be at the end of the race. He was coming under pressure from the next car, which was going to be Nelson Piquet Jr. Then there was problems. There was a front right puncher for Paul Giuffreau, who disappeared off into the gravel. He kept the car running, would rejoin, and would limp his way back round to the pit lane. So that meant that Jordan O'Brien had then, at that point, picked up the lead of the race from Vittorio Garelli. But guess what? Problems for Jordan O'Brien. Something going wrong with the rear axle, we believe, as he was working his way round through turn number 4, and he would retire that car, which would allow Vittorio Garelli to pick up the lead of the race. For Gianmarco Ercoli, his problems continued. Again, the car just off the pace, not putting up a great deal of defence for drivers. Through went Thomas Crasonis and gained a place. The next car going through was going to be Vinny Mascalis, and that would mean that Gianmarco Ercoli was slowly losing championship points all of the time. Elsewhere, though, Jack Davidson was having a great fight with Ulysse Delceau, who was coming under pressure from the next car behind, which was Vladimiris Choitsis, who was trying to gain places over Logan Bearden. They were all busy squabbling away, and at the tail end of that pack was the number 4 of Mark Goossens. For Ercoli, though, he still seemed to be struggling out on circuit. Further places lost as Sebastian Bleekie-Molen was able to carve his way through. Over the start-finish line to come and claim the win, it was going to be Vittorio Garelli that would come through to claim his 16th win of his career in the NASCAR Top Division. But for Gianmarco Ercoli, he did see the checkered flag, but as he walked away from the car, you could tell that Gianmarco Ercoli physically was struggling. Whatever had happened in his car, he'd finished the race, he seeked the shade. He's now just being checked over in the medical centre, and we will bring you more news on social media and EuroNASCAR.eu regarding exactly what the problems were and Gianmarco's health. So Garelli claimed the win. He is absolutely delighted with that one. First thing he did was go and thank the PK Car Sport team, who yet again have provided him the winning machine here. He sticks the winner's sticker on the car, and he'll be heading up onto the podium to receive the winner's trophy. And with the great support of the crowd here at Valencia, he picks up the win in the second race of the season in the V8GP division. And that's the highlights that we've just seen from our 18-lap race here. And that brings to a conclusion our broadcast as well. I think it also brings to a conclusion all of the track activity from all of the support races and what has been, Rafael Lessar, who joins me in the commentary box, a brilliant weekend of racing. You, as a driver, haven't had the individual look, but what a circuit, what support, and what weather.
Yeah, it was a beautiful weekend. Thanks for having me in the booth. It was nice to see the behind the scene, and you're so good at it. Like I'm having a hard time with all the names, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. When I'll be driving next time, I'll know a little bit more of what you're doing.
Well, it's been great to have your insight as to what it's like driving these cars as well, and it's been great to meet you for the first time this weekend, and I'll see you in 4 weeks' time in Paul Ricard.
Oh yeah, I will be there. Hopefully the luck is more on my side.
Okay, we'll give Gianmarco my best when you see him. We hope that he's absolutely all right after that one. Safe journey back to Canada, and see you at the next round.
Thank you very much.
There we go. So that's it from our commentary position here. We are done for this weekend at Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Valencia. Hope you've enjoyed the 13th edition of the NASCAR Grand Prix of Spain. Thank you to all of my co-commentators and all of the support from Team FJ this weekend. But from all of us here, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you in just a few weeks' time for the NASCAR Grand Prix of France at La Castellet. Paul Ricard. Goodbye.
The new season of the NASCAR Euro Series is here, and it all kicks off at Circuit Ricardo Tormo. Feel the noise, the speed, and the action live. Don't miss the opening round in Valencia.
Hi guys, this year is my year.
I am ready. We're starting first round. Let's go.
Let's work hard with our PK Car Sport guys and let's do it.
The 2026 NASCAR Euro Series season starts now.